Chiiief, also known as King George of Yolo, talks about the vision and inspiration of his show, Stadium Tours with Chiiief.
Thank you very much. So Stadium Tours started in January of 2024. The vision back then was to bridge the gap between sports architecture and sports fans. As sports fans, we all know these stadia, but there's no show to sort of like bring us the real inside look. Growing up as a Chelsea fan in Bubuashi, I loved Stamford Bridge, but I didn't know how I was going to see the interior of Stamford Bridge. There was no show like that. So when I grew up, and got access, I decided to democratize this access, go to these stadiums and film content and tell stories that would connect with the average viewer. Yes, so this is the World Cup edition of Stadium Tours. The inspiration for the World Cup edition is because the World Cup is the biggest sporting event in the world and it features a lot of stadiums. And so the best thing to do was to, profile some of these stadiums for the viewing fan to understand before they go there. So yeah, that's it. We decided to create a guide. So if you watch the current Stadium Tours with Chiiief World Cup edition, you will see that we profile these stadiums. We tell the stories about them. We profile these cities as well. And we show you where to eat, where to sleep, and where to visit when you go to these cities. So that's really the inspiration. Wow. The stadium or city that gave me the most unforgettable reaction the moment I stepped inside would have to be the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. My God. That is an architecture marvel. Like, that's a breathing machine, with the retractable roofs. And the funny thing is, every 5-10 steps you take, you see an AMG just to remind you that you should make money. That's something I said in the trailer. So if you watch it, you would understand. But that aside, I think also, when it comes to history or fan-charged energy, I think the Signal Iduna in Dortmund as well, it just has so much culture. And the other one would be Manchester City Stadium in Manchester. It has this calming aura to itself. You could feel like they are not intimidated because they've won so much. So yeah. Well, what makes a stadium stand out for me personally would be 3 things: the architecture, the history, and the fans, in no particular order. But well, if you're talking about sports tourism or sports architecture, then definitely it's like architecture first. But you could have a stadium with, fantastic, magnificent terraces, but no fans to charge it up. That's why the Signal Iduna would be mentioned. That's why grounds like Anfield and, Old Trafford will be mentioned, charged up, places. So I guess it's just a mixture of all 3. Yeah, that's it. Well, I hope viewers feel connected when they watch my content because I am telling it from a viewer's perspective. As I said, growing up as a young person in Bubuashi, I wanted to go to Stamford Bridge. So when you watch this series, you see my excitement wide-eyed. Like when I go to these places, I'm naturally shocked. I am naturally surprised. I'm naturally happy. So you won't get, an overly produced show where somebody's trying to be all like, I've been here before. You will get storytelling at its best. So I want you to expect raw, unfiltered reactions. I want you to expect a lot of fun and also a lot of learning because we have researched and we are going to bring you facts and figures that will help you when you are ready to visit these stadiums. Wow, the challenges people don't see when creating travel and sports content at this level are plenty. I can't begin to list them, but yeah, the ones that come straight to me would be scheduling. I'll speak from my perspective. Scheduling was like a Herculean task because for you to travel around, you have to find availability for these stadiums. I remember, if you're filming the World Cup edition, I had to sleep on flights because these were like long flights from, say, from Atlanta to Los Angeles, from Philadelphia to Texas, from Texas to Atlanta itself, so there's also that there's also a lot of pushback. I can't remember one time in Switzerland, in Basel, I went there to film and the ultras would stop me because they thought I was an op, but I understand this. It's all part of football culture. Yeah, never knowing what to expect, never knowing when you'll be told to put your cameras down. and also, learning about these stadia in real time, right? And having to say it back to the audience in a way they can relate. So these are the challenges, but they make the job worth it. So yeah, please watch so that we wouldn't work in vain. Look, storytelling is everything in my videos. I feel like storytelling is like the heart of content. So with Stadium Tours with Chiiief, you're getting raw, unfiltered storytelling. It's not overly produced. When I'm surprised, you will see it. When I am not, you will see it. When I am happy, you will see it. Because I am telling it from an audience spectator point of view. I am showing you things. I am learning and telling you as well. So storytelling is really important. It connects the viewer to the experience directly, and you hear a lot of that in Stadium Tours. If I could get exclusive access to any stadium in the world for one full day, I'm definitely going to Stamford Bridge. I'm a Chelsea fan. I just want to see where and how they sack these managers, right? But yeah, aside that, if I'm putting my biases aside, I want to see the historic ones, I want to see the Estadio Azteca. I think the one in Mexico where Maradona famously scored the hand of God goal against England. I want to go to the Maracana, that one, the big one, right? Surprisingly, I've never really toured the Accra Sports Stadium, so that should be a big one for me. And the Santiago Bernabéus of this world and the Camp Nous, yeah, definitely. Well, the possibilities for stadium tours with Chiiief, are endless. We want to make this a global brand. We want to transcribe it into various languages. We want everybody in the four corners of the world, from the favelas of Brazil to the bright skyline of San Francisco to the kangaroos of Australia, to watch this and feel connected, because it's not just made for an African audience. It's made for a global audience. So that's what we want to do. We want to put it on TV. We want to create merchandise for it. But all this would happen if you go on YouTube and watch and you support us. So please, please, please support us. This is what we want to do with Stadium Tours with Chiiief. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on TikTok at Stadium Tours with Chiiief, Instagram at Stadium Tours with Chiiief, and connect with me at Chiiief. Thank you.
I so love this for Chiiief because even aside acting, he's trying to build something highly substantial for himself, and it is highly commendable. But if you want to check out excerpts of this show, you can follow him across social media platforms at Chiiief.